Powlowski left out of cabinet shuffle. Government information shakes autism community. And Stats Can estimates 1% economic growth.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. The Trudeau government's big cabinet shuffle this week once again left out local MP Marcus Powlowski, who will remain a backbencher.
Powlowski says he wasn't surprised by the decision and that he's okay with it because, unlike himself, ministers aren't able to criticize their party.
Personally, I see being a member of a party as a bit like being a marriage. 95% of the time you agree with your partner, but 5% of the time you don't agree with your partner. And I think in those 5% of the times it's nice to be able to say what you think. And I think certainly the perception is that I'm someone who's more inclined to disagree with the government.
The cabinet shuffle saw 7 ministers drop from their roles, with many others changing their portfolios. Overall, Powlowski believes the shuffle won't cause major changes to the government's direction. One concern he does have is the time it takes new ministers to get up to speed, which he believes will temporarily set back progress.
You have projects you may have been following for a year or 2 years, and then you have a new minister and new staff, and in some cases, it's like reinventing the wheel. So there is a certain loss of efficiency when you start changing the parts on your car when it's still moving.
The shuffle did not impact the Thunder Bay area's other MP, Patty Hajdu, who will remain as Minister of Indigenous Services and Minister responsible for Fednor.
Children with autism are sometimes waiting years for crucial and time-sensitive therapies due to provincial underfunding, according to Thunder Bay's Alina Cameron. She's the president of the Ontario Autism Coalition. Lee Noonan spoke with Cameron about some new government information that's shaken the autism community.
Here and across the province, the families of children with autism have been fighting for access to publicly funded therapy for years. Now they've learned that the number of children waiting for Ontario's core autism therapy funding has roughly tripled in the last 5 years, while the funding hasn't changed.
Families have been asking for transparency. We shouldn't have to go through lengthy FOI processes to get basic information about a program we're trying to access.
Ontario Autism Coalition President Alina Cameron says the documents confirm what they already knew from talking to families, that the vast majority of eligible children are being left behind.
The delay is gut-wrenching. You know that there's something out there for your child. You know that it can help them not struggle on a daily basis, and you can't access it.
As of the end of March, according to the Ontario Autism Coalition's estimates, only about 7,000 of the nearly 60,000 children on the waitlist had actually received funding. Cameron's daughter is one of them. They finally received funding in December after years of waiting. But Cameron says she, like many parents, had been paying for therapies already.
You have families who are spending their entire life savings, selling everything that's not nailed down, remortgaging their homes in order to pay for these therapies. When you have a diagnosis for your child, you are told immediately that early intervention is key. So any type of delay is detrimental to your child's trajectory in life.
Even for families who are getting the funding or who can afford to pay out of pocket, Cameron says the services aren't always available.
We aren't actually able to access the full hours that we were prescribed originally because there's not enough capacity in our area. That's actually the case across Ontario. But with this little bit of therapy, my daughter is learning how to learn so that other therapies like speech-language pathology and occupational therapy work for her.
Cameron estimates that nearly 1,000 children in the region could be on the wait list and at risk of missing important developmental windows. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
The 5th annual golf tournament for the Andrew Miedema Foundation was held this afternoon at the Fort William Country Club.
Close to 100 local golfers were in attendance, with the proceeds going towards the foundation, which helps support mental health and suicide prevention. Joe Sadowski was there and has the story.
Andrew Miedema was the guy with an amazing personality and $1 million smile who hid his depression from just about everybody. On March 7, 2018, he committed suicide at just 32 years old. Soon afterwards, 7 of his best friends launched the Andrew Miedema Foundation, which supports mental health programs around the Thunder Bay area. Since then, the foundation has raised over $55,000 with help from their annual charity golf tournament in Andrew's name.
I found out yesterday that since the beginning of this golf tournament, since the beginning that the foundation is open, that we've been able to provide 364 counseling sessions for those who ultimately couldn't afford it. So helping others in Andrew's name has been not only therapeutic, but it's been amazing for a guy who loved to help others himself. He loved to, not only be a good friend, but a good brother, a good family member, and a positive influence for everybody.
Andrew's Fund is run by the staff at Kelly's Mental Health, where they help find people who are in need. The Miedema family participates in the tournament and were on hand at Fort William Country Club. His brother, David Miedema, said it's great knowing the impact it's making on the community and having Andrew's memory live on.
It's incredible what this tournament has done, even just for our family, to kind of deal with the loss that we had experienced, knowing that his memory lives on through this tournament, through his friends. It's just amazing.
It's really meaningful to see how much this is growing, the support from the community, the golfers that come out and spend their hard-earned money and dollars on a day like this. But at the end of the day, we are striving to really make an impact in the community here in Thunder Bay.
Joe Sadowski, TBT News.
What was once an 18-hole golf course in Geraldton is now down to 9 holes.
The Kennegaw Misses Golf Club had to return the leased property back to Greenstone Gold last year to make way for the massive new open pit mine. But with hundreds of workers in town for the project, the golf course is booming like never before. Carl Langdon has a story.
For 20 years, Kennegaw Misses Golf Club boasted a full 18 holes, but the property that had been leased for their back 9 on the other side of Highway 584 was reclaimed last season by the owner, Greenstone Gold.
Unfortunate, but we still have the front 9, so that's great.
Although it might seem like a step backwards, Club Chair Terry Dunn expressed his optimism, explaining that interactions he's had with the mine's administration leaves him confident in their efforts to work with the club.
The mine has been trying to work with us. They've been very informative with us. They are very community-minded, which is great for us. So we just want to continue with that relationship and build off of that.
Beyond a willingness to work together, some of the other benefits the club is feeling from the presence of the mine are a little more tangible.
A lot of green fears now because of miners, contractors that are in town, a real revenue boost for us, and that's what we needed.
In a town with a pre-mine population of under 2,000, attracting families who settle in the community offers plenty of other benefits too.
We're struggling to find employees. The last couple of years have been really difficult. This year, we were fortunate enough to find some employees for in the clubhouse and on the course.
And it's clear when speaking to Dunn that the importance of that clubhouse position cannot be overstated.
If you're a golfer and you really needed to have a beverage of some kind, every third hole comes back to the clubhouse.
Carl Langdon, TBT News.
The latest winner of the Thunder Bay 50-50 draw got a life-changing phone call today from the Regional Health Sciences Centre Foundation. Sheila O'Leary Ongaro from Newmarket heard about the draw from a good friend in Thunder Bay and decided to give it a shot.
You've won $935,508 in the Thunder Bay 50-50.
You're kidding me, right?
I'm not kidding you, Sheila.
Oh my God, that's amazing. A very dear friend of mine is from Thunder Bay, and she was telling me about how you guys do the hospital lottery every month. So I said, okay, well, I'll give it a try because it's always good to contribute to a hospital and all the stuff that you do. So I gave it a try. So I've been doing it for about 3 months now, I guess.
3 months now. Well, I think you've made a pretty smart investment, a pretty good return on your investment.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
With this month's $935,000 draw, the Thunder Bay 50-50 has now awarded more than $25 million in prizes to the winning ticket holders. That's in turn led to millions of dollars being raised to purchase vital equipment for the hospital. Tickets are now open for August's 50-50, which features $30,000 in early bird draws. The next draw date is August 25th.
Congratulations for winning that. Maybe one day, while we put in our tickets, we can maybe win.
Yeah, my fingers are crossed every
awesome
single
draw.
time. It is.
But as for weather, temperatures cooling down a little bit. Fiona, yesterday was extremely warm, but a little more easy to head outside today.
Yeah, when you say temperatures are cooling down, when you're starting out with 31 Celsius and a humidex of 38, and by the way, it's not official, but yesterday's temperature was about half a degree off from the record for this time of year. Cooling off is just a drop in the bucket. We're still pretty close to seasonal today, 23 and a humidex of 26. Loads of sunshine. Winds from the southeast, 7 to 17 kilometers per hour. Our overnight low hit 13 this early morning, but it took a while to get there. It was still pretty muggy last night. Now, if we take a look at what's going on across the region, to the west, Atikokan and Fort Frances, both at 22. Started off with a lot of cloud, but it has cleared up in the last couple of hours, so they've got lots of sunshine. Definitely cooler as you head into Kenora and Dryden, and that's because the humidex to the south still being felt. So although it's 22 in the fort, it feels like 26. As you head further north into Kenora and Dryden and Red Lake, where it's 17, those temperatures actually feel like those temperatures because the humidex really not a factor at this time. Red Lake has had mostly cloudy skies throughout the day, and I believe their high today was just 18, so it's definitely cooler up to the north. As you head eastward, warms up ever so slightly, 19 in Sioux Lookout and Pickle Lake and Big Trout Lake. Armstrong at 20 at this hour, as is Greenstone. Greenstone started out under partly cloudy skies, but just in the last couple of hours, they've added a whole lot of cloud, and they too are experiencing much drier air, so humidex not a factor there. Along the North Shore, they're hovering right around the 20-degree mark, and Sault Ste. Marie 22, but it's very muggy on the eastern shores of Lake Superior, and the humidex is currently sitting at 30 under sunny skies. Now, here in the city of Thunder Bay tonight, we're only going to drop a handful of degrees down to 15 Celsius. We've got a lot of patchy cloud, and there is a good chance that we're going to see a passing shower or two overnight. As we head into the weekend, we've got one of those weekends where it sounds like I don't want to commit to anything because we're looking at seasonal temperatures and some sunshine. But there is a risk of pop-up showers in the afternoon with that sunshine, and in that those showers, the potential for an isolated thunderstorm or two. So we're literally looking at potentially seeing sun, cloud, rain, and a thunderstorm. I'll have more details on how that will work out for your weekend plans. That's later on in the news hour.
Well, thank you so much, Fiona. Well, Stats Canada said that the economy grew by 0.3% in May, and they're estimating a 1% growth by the second quarter. We'll have more on that after the break.
In a time of inflation, where we're glad we're seeing inflation come down, and supply chains disruptions and war in Ukraine, there are challenges around the world on getting big projects done.